How is it going, guys? Drew Peacock here, back with another video, and this is my 2009 Corvette ZR1, or ZR1 for you foreigners. That sounded racist. I didn't mean for that. I have some Canadian friends and they call it a ZR1. Anyways, okay, this is my 2009 ZR1, and I've had it now for 1 year. I got this car August 1st of 2024, the same day my puppy gave birth. I said, you're gonna have to handle this on your own, and I dipped. I flew to Sacramento, picked up the car, and drove it home in the middle of the night, and it was one of the most memorable experiences of my life. And now that I've had the car for 1 year, I often get asked, what's it like owning a ZR1? Is it expensive? Is it annoying? Do you miss your McLaren? So today we're gonna talk about that. And let me just start off by saying, this is probably the greatest car I've ever driven. No glaze. I am not Krispy Kreming these donuts. I'm not glazing it. I genuinely enjoy this car every time I climb into it, and we will talk about it. I've driven a lot of cars over the years. It's a meme by now that I mention every once in a while that I used to work at a car dealership. So, I worked at a Chevy dealership, funny enough. I never thought I would own a ZR1, but I drove C7s, CTSVs, Mustangs, Chargers, Challengers, literally everything that would get traded in, I would drive and experience it and try to see what I liked and what I didn't like. And even over my years of being a content creator, test driving cars for reviews, or even just when I was shopping for cars, test driving them, I can still easily say this is the greatest car I've ever driven. So the first question I get asked most is, do I miss my McLaren? That is the question I single-handedly get asked the most when it comes to owning this car. Why would you sell your McLaren for a GM Chevy Corvette? Why would you sell your supercar and go to a Corvette? Blah, 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 blah. First of all, the McLaren was a really fun car, but it had massive limitations. I took it to the track a few times, and every single time, no matter what tire I put on the car, no matter what wheel I have on the car, you can't run larger than a 245 front tire, which means I was just pushing that front end through corners and going off track. There was not much I could do to that car to save it, unless I went with the crazy GT3 kit or whatever on it and had the wide body flares, and it would have been sick. But finding one of those kits is gonna cost me probably $15,000 minimum. I wasn't into that car that much. The street driving experience of the McLaren was wonderful. It was great, it was a cool car, it was flashy, but that also just isn't my style. As you can tell, I'm pretty tamed when it comes to dressing and flexing, so it's fine. A lot of people think, oh, well, it's probably because you're paying a lot less for your Corvette. My payment is actually the same, so it's not like I'm saving money by owning the Corvette. It's the same. These cars ain't cheap either. So ultimately, do I miss my McLaren? No. I have never once woke up and thought, damn, I wish I could drive my McLaren today. I had a lot of fun with that car. I put a lot of miles on that car. I'm over it. This car ultimately beats that car every single way. Although the McLaren was a raw supercar when it comes to supercars, this is a much more raw driver's car. Like, this car is designed for somebody that wants to just really feel their car, really drive their car, really just be part of the whole process. McLaren's an automatic, nothing really wrong with that when it comes to higher end cars and supercars or race cars. Ultimately, automatics are faster, so I understand it. There's no way they're gonna throw a manual transmission in a car that's supposed to compete with Huracans and Ferraris. Just doesn't make sense. But this car, the manual transmission just ultimately just is, it makes the car so much more fun. I can't imagine having an automatic Corvette. I'm sure they're fun in their own right, but personally, if you get a Corvette, it has to be manual. It just really ties everything together and just makes the driving experience that much more of a blast. Let me describe the Corvette driving experience to you briefly. Imagine a 3,000-pound car with 640 horsepower that is capable of 200 miles per hour with a manual transmission. Oh, and it's also like just as nimble as like a Miata and a BRZ. Amazing, right? That's what it's like to drive a ZR1. That's the best way I could explain it. It is a souped up Miata. It just handles really well. It is more than capable. A lot of people forget Porsches and Corvettes have a rivalry. Corvettes used to beat the shit out of Porsches so much that Porsches actually banned them from racing in their divisions and in their leagues. You can look up the actual history of it. I'm not a lore expert, but Porsche owners and Corvette owners go hand in hand when it goes to racing. So this is essentially an American like GT3 car. The driving experience is like no other. I've driven so many cars over the years, and just every single time I hop in this car, I have so much fun. I've driven anything from WRXs, Supras, GTRs, other McLarens as well, not just my 12C. I've driven 570s, I've driven R8s, I've driven all of them. And this is still just like the most fun, raw driving experience I think I've ever had. And I don't think they'll ever be able to capture this in the future because everything is just shifting towards electronic assist and all that fun stuff. Nothing wrong with electronic assist, but having a car where you can feel the road, you can feel the bumps, you engage with the trans and the shifter, and you're feeling the input of the steering wheel and the way the road is and the way your car is reacting to the road. It really doesn't get much better than this. Let's talk about something a lot of people also ask me: cost of ownership. Maybe you're scared of buying a Corvette ZR1 because you're afraid that it's going to be too expensive to maintain. Carbon ceramics, the LS9, it's going to drop valves. This isn't an LS7, this is an LS9. These have very minor issues that if you don't take care of early on can cause an issue. One of them is the supercharger bricks in the lid. Mine are still stock. I don't pump a whole lot of boost through this car. I also regularly check to make sure that I'm not leaking any, and I check my fluids very often. But the supercharger bricks are known to leak, and if you start leaking coolant into the engine and your car starts to overheat because it's not cooling down the air that's coming in, it's going to be a bad day, and it's going to be an expensive bill if you want to go back with an LS9. Unless you're Alex Flores and throw a Coyote in it, which is just as badass in my opinion, and I see 100% why he would do that. Dude, if this motor blows up, I don't know if I'm throwing an LS9 in it. Let's just say that. These motherfuckers are expensive. Twin turbo Coyote, suck my balls and tickle me silly. I'd probably do the same shit. Motor-wise though, I've had literally zero issues with it. I have modified it slightly. I'm not going crazy on it, but you know, check your spark plugs, do your oil regularly. I actually just did a full fluid change on this car because I'm actually going on a road trip this week all the way up to San Francisco. And that's one of the great things about this car is just how comfortable it is. The seats in this car from factory, although kind of boring looking, they are so comfortable. I love them so much. They're so padded. It's like a lazy boy. This car is meant for like 50, 60-year-old men, but it has the spirit of something designed for a race car driver. So road trips in this car are no problem. I've already went on one with it. When I bought the car, I flew up to Sacramento, drove it back in one night, 6 hours straight. No problems. Was never exhausted. My back never hurt. My legs were never tired. Literally no issues there. The brakes, yeah, if you want to go to steel brakes to maybe save on that, go for it. But carbon ceramics last a really long time. So unless you're at the track every weekend, I wouldn't worry about that. The transmission is also really tough. Same with the factory clutch. You can add a whole lot of power to these and not have to worry about changing any of that. So I would just leave it. This car is literally designed to race right out of the box. If you want to modernize the car with aftermarket lighting, I mean, that's an expense, but that's also personal preference. I went with Vette lights and did all of the lights on the car. So we have laser side markers, LED headlights and bulbs, aftermarket tail lights, the whole 9 yards, just to make it look a little bit more modern, not like it's from 2009. But the car, I mean, dude, still in 2025 is still a beautiful car. The lines are just elegant, they're pronounced, they're aggressive. Inside the car, you can see the fender humps and the hood, and it's a crazy driving experience. It's a crazy view. They were cooking when they made this car. They knew what they were doing. It also comes with a bunch of carbon options from factory. You get the carbon roof, carbon skirts, carbon front lip, no carbon diffuser, and no carbon wing. Oddly enough, I have swapped those out from Extreme Online Store. If you're looking for carbon parts, I would go there. I've had zero complaints, zero fitment issues. I love it. Now you might be saying, well, Drew, this sounds like it's a sold done deal. It sounds like there's literally no problems with this car at all. There are minor ones. They are kind of nitpicks, but there are minor ones. The interior of this car is very, very mid-2000s GM. They have this weird fake carbon fiber like center cluster bezel. I don't even know. I don't know if they were trying to make it look like carbon fiber or what, but it looks like it wants to be carbon fiber, but it's just like printed off of somebody's printer at their house. It looks really weird. The factory steering wheel is god awful. That would be one of the first things I would change out. It's not the worst thing ever. It is very functional, obviously, but for a $100,000 car, it just looks very, very bland. We're talking 100,000 MSRP. You can find them obviously for less or for more, but for that high of a car and the highest trim level, I expect more than a Cobalt SS steering wheel. The seats are good, although they're not like harness compatible if you're a hardcore track driver. These C7 Z06 competition seats are definitely where it's at, but you're looking at $3 grand for seats. I don't know if I could justify that purchase just yet, and I don't want to go with like buckets. I want to have OEM plus, just keep it looking OEM, but just more aggressive. The leather dashes also often lift, Mine is bubbling a little bit, but I had Stitchcraft Interiors here go ahead and repair the whole thing. So he put some nice Alcantara. It actually looks better than factory. It looks more like a supercar and less like a Corvette, because from factory, it's just a whole slab of leather. I like this. It helps break it up, and it's a nice anti-glare shield on my dash. The biggest thing is, from factory, these do not come with an aux cord. I believe 2011 and under, or 2010 and under, do not have an aux cord. Mine is a 2009, so I was listening to the radio the whole way back when I picked up the car, and it was really, really boring. I threw in an aftermarket head unit, and since then have had zero issues. I have Apple CarPlay and all that fun stuff, so it's not like permanent or anything like that, but it's just an expense that you're gonna have to take into mind if you are looking for one of these. I would remove that factory unit and throw in something aftermarket. The trunk space is more than enough. I guess we'll see on this upcoming road trip how many suitcases I can fit back there, but I think we'll be good. I think there's plenty of room back there, and I shouldn't have any issues. As they always say, you can fit a whole bag of golf clubs back there with no issue, so a couple suitcases shouldn't be an issue either. Another con that I would say with this car is the trans tunnel gets extremely hot. It is common. I don't know exactly what causes it, if it's the torque tube or the exhaust routed under there. But if you're on a long drive, that tube is literally a heater. That whole tunnel literally warms up. If you have anything in your center console like chapstick or gum, it's gonna melt. It gets really hot. It's weird. It's just a common issue with these cars. It's a side effect probably of the torque tube and stuff under there. It's very odd. I don't know if anyone's ever found a fix for it. It's not bad enough to where I've ever gone and looked for a fix. But if you're on like an hour plus drive, 2-hour drive, you'll start to notice, damn, my leg's getting a little hot. I notice it when I'm in the canyons and I'm really beating on the car, which makes me think that it's more of an exhaust thing. I'm sure if you go under there and just exhaust strap shit, you're probably good. But still, I gotta bring it up because I do notice it, and especially on the drive home from Sacramento, which might I add was in the middle of the night, so it's not like it was hot out. That motherfucker was baking my leg. I'm really trying to think of other cons that I have with this vehicle, and I kind of can't. Another con, I guess, would be if you look at the rear quarter panel, it protrudes a lot because the ZR1 is pretty damn wide. And so you will get rock chips here. If you PPF it, you can save it. I don't have any PPF yet, and there are some noticeable rock chips. It's not the worst thing ever. I've seen Porsches with way worse, but it's just something you got to keep in mind. If you're going to drive the car, it's going to look driven. Do I think that's a downside? No, I enjoy driving my car, so I don't really care. But on this drive going forward, I am probably gonna put some tape right here just to protect it a little bit. I guess the last downside I could think of, and this might just be one towards people that really care about this, I don't personally, but it's not super flashy. Like, this doesn't get the attention that other $100,000 cars will get, like an R8, maybe even an R35, a Gallardo, a 12C. Those cars get looks. To 9 out of 10 people, this is just a normal Corvette. It just looks like a blue Corvette. It doesn't look like anything special. And to some people, that's a deal breaker. Why am I gonna spend that much money and blend in with regular traffic? To me, that's a plus. I don't like having a bunch of attention on me. That's why originally I had wrapped my car silver, the Mustang, because I wanted it to blend in a little bit more and not look super race card out, you know? I don't like being super flashy. I don't like people looking at me. So a basic looking Corvette, by my terms, is more than enough. I am completely happy with that. And I would rather have a conversation with the guy that comes up to me and says, hey man, that's a nice ZR1, than the guy that comes up to me and says, hey man, that's a nice supercar, when I had my McLaren. One guy is actually a car guy, the other guy just wants to, I don't know, figure out how he can make a bag, I guess. Nothing wrong with that. Get that money, king. But personally, I like being more low-key. But yeah, as for the cons, I honestly think that's kind of where it ends. I mean, if you want to call factory carbon fiber a con because, yeah, if you leave it in the sun, it's gonna haze, I guess. It has a valved exhaust from factory. It makes 640 horsepower from factory. I mean, I really can't think of any other cons. I guess I could say like the infotainment or like the heads-up display is kind of stupid. Not stupid in the sense of like, oh, it doesn't work, but stupid as in the sense of like, there's some data that I would like to know, some readouts. I would love to know my intake air temps on the go. I would love to know what my oil pressure is on the go, my oil temperature on the go. There's a few things that I would like to see on my screen and not have to actually cycle through. You cannot find intake air temp at all, so it's just kind of like you're guessing. You can't find a boost gauge at all. You can see a little visual indicator, but there's no numbers, so it's pointless. It's like, okay, you're either making boost or you're not. That's stupid. So it is kind of dumb in that sense. I mean, there are aftermarket fixes that you could do. You can, you know, install gauges, but again, I like it looking OEM. I like it looking basic. I want it to be low key. I want this car to look stock. Besides my wheels and my carbon, I want it to look stock. You pop the hood, it looks stock. Even though it's not, it looks stock. But yeah, 1 year of ownership, and it's probably been one of the greatest years of ownership ever. So a few of you might be wondering, well, if you sold your McLaren and you were looking for a car, were there any other cars that you were considering, Drew, and why didn't you choose them? There was one. So my original plan was to sell my McLaren, sell my truck, pretty much combine my monthly payments, and then buy an R35 GTR, like a newer one, like a 2020. But the problem with that was, one, I don't really want to pay $120,000 to $140,000 for a damn Nissan, but also, it didn't do it for me. I went out and test drove a couple of them, stock form, and although they were great cars, they're super cool, and I do eventually want to own one, it didn't really impress me. Yeah, it was cool launching a car. It felt like a really fast Subaru WRX. Sick launching it at a stoplight, getting on it in any gear, and it just hooks and books. But this car can kind of do the same thing and more. The R35 is too heavy. I really want to track this car, and I really wanted to track the R35, but the R35's weight was going to hold it back. It's too much weight. It's gonna overpower the tires. Those tires are gonna get really tired, no pun intended, fast. It's just not a race car. It's a grand touring car. It is a car to go across country in. It is a car to go on rallies with the occasional track day or canyon run. So that was honestly the biggest deterring factor. I mean, in the back of my mind too, a lot of YouTubers have already had GTRs. So I just like was kind of turned off by that too. I didn't want to just be another, hey, look at me guys, I made it and I bought a GTR. You know, I didn't want to be another one of those guys. So this is 100% more my style. I'm way more into supercharged V8s than I am twin turbo V6s. So although the R35 is a car one day I would like to own, that's almost like a guilty pleasure of mine because it wouldn't really be for YouTube. It would just be one of those cars that, hey, I would like to see it parked next to my Supra in the garage one day. That's literally kind of all the reason why I want it. I think bang for your buck, a ZR1 is gotta be one of the best bang for your bucks cars out there. It's ready to race right out of the box. It's super fast, super fun on the street. It looks great. People that know that this shit's sick. I don't know. To me, this is the perfect car. Anyways, let me know what you guys think down below. I'm trying to think if I forgot anything. We can go ahead and, I don't know, maybe I'll insert a clip here of me yapping over something, but I think for the most part, that's it. I kind of covered everything I wanted to, why I got rid of the McLaren, do I regret it, price of ownership, driving experience, cons, all that stuff. I think I got everything. So yeah, go buy a ZR1. You'll be happier.